So, look, I've just been having a little afternoon listening to Rage Against the Machine, one of my old favourites from back in the day. It's been ages since I gave them a listen and read the lyrics. I used to read all the lyrics, I haven't done that in ages. It kind of got me all hyped up. I don't even know what I'm going to say here, I'll try to keep it quick. There's one thing I've learned in my life, one of the reasons that I dedicate myself to honesty, is because of how much we are fucking lied to. And I'm not going to go into some conspiracy theory here. What I mean is, everybody's lied to you your whole fucking life. Alright? Your parents, your friends, because they were lied to, your teachers, the media. Everybody's so full of shit. They're full of shit about the way things work. They're full of shit about what's going on behind the scenes. And most importantly, they're full of shit about how you should live. You know. You've been conditioned and programmed to fit into somebody's worldview in a way that makes it very convenient for them and makes you very easy to control, whether it's just a small culture of your family, you know, your parents trying to squeeze you into their worldview so that you're an easy kid to manage and they can, like, get rid of all their insecurities through you or something. Through to the biggest scale of, like, politicians and media trying to get you to fit into a worldview that makes you a good little worker and keeps them in power and so on. I mean, everybody's just so fucking full of shit, right? And sometimes I kind of forget how intense it is, how rare an honest person is, how unusual it is for someone to come along and go, actually, I don't have all the answers, and who knows what's right, and maybe you got to figure it out for yourself. I mean, how often do you actually hear that? Almost fucking never, right? What you hear is you got to do this, and you got to do that, and this is what it means to be a good person, and this is what it means to be a citizen, and money is real, and countries are real, and this is the way you're supposed to eat, and, you know, you should do this diet and that workout, and don't hang out with those people because they're this, that, and the other, and race is a real thing, and so on and so on and so on. We've got all these differences between us. These people are your enemy. Fuck, we get told a lot of bullshit. If you start with the assumption that, like, 99% of everything you've ever been told, you know, everything that anyone's ever tried to convince you of in terms of what's true and how the world works and what you should do with your life and everything in those categories. If you start with the assumption that 99% of it was either a deliberate or an unconscious lie, someone either deliberately trying to manipulate you or they're just passing on bullshit that they believe that is untrue. Either way, it doesn't make a difference really which one it is. If you start with that and just look at the world fresh, like, what if everyone's wrong? What if people are either manipulating me or bullshitting me and they don't know it? If you start with that assumption and sort of start fresh, let's start with a blank slate here. What do I actually know is true? Where's the evidence? You know, how many things do I believe just based on what I've been told without actually finding out for myself? Right? And you'll see it's a vast majority. You take, say, a classic thing like religion. It's amazing how many people will join a temple or a church and they don't even read the book themselves or find out where the book came from or look for evidence of God. They just grew up with a priest telling them something and their parents telling them something and they just believe that. Right? Or somebody believes, you know, this country is a border with this other country without questioning, like, are countries even real? Or did we just make them up? Why is there countries? Without even looking into it yourself. Or somebody thinking money's a thing that you got to hold on to. Why do you believe that? How do you know money's real? What, because it's printed on a piece of paper? What's that evidence of? Do you know what money even means? What it even represents? Why is it that we have money when we didn't used to? What did we used to do? These kinds of questions that nobody fucking asks. You know, like, have you ever asked yourself, is there any qualification to be in government? Because the answer's no. Yeah, there's no qualification required to be a politician. Anybody can do it. They just have to be good at marketing themselves. So the idea that somebody in power is somehow qualified to be is ridiculous. They're not. They just wanted it and they went for it and they beat the other people who were going for it. So why are they in power? Why do we let that happen? Working a 9 to 5. Where'd you get that idea from? Where'd you get the idea that it's good to work 40 hours a week? Right? To give up most of your daylight hours earning money for somebody else. Where'd you get that idea? Huh? Why do you believe that? It sounds a bit sort of woke and red pill or whatever to say question everything, but that's what I'm saying is question everything you believe that you didn't find out for yourself, that you didn't go and investigate scientifically. Where's the evidence? Tested. Does that actually work out that way? You know, it first happened to me when I started questioning the idea of be nice to everybody. Seems like a good idea on paper, but I realised it was only something I was told, or kind of coerced and conditioned into believing. I'd never actually tested not being nice. And I don't mean being nasty or being cruel, but not trying to please everyone all the time. I'd never tested like putting myself first, for example. And what was interesting is as soon as I tested it, it seemed like that was better for everybody. Everybody around me benefited from me putting myself first. But my brain said that's selfish because somebody conditioned me to believe that it's bad to put yourself first. But the evidence doesn't support that. In fact, the evidence really shows that if you don't put yourself first, you and everyone around you suffers. So just because it doesn't feel right doesn't mean it is right. You know, it doesn't mean it is wrong. So, I just want to put it out there. Most of us have no fucking comprehension of how much we've been lied to. And it's often because the people who lied to us were themselves believers. It's very few people have actually manipulated us, consciously knowing the truth and telling us something different. Most of them are the sheep that have already been manipulated, passing on the disease. You know, your parents passed on whatever bullshit they were trained to believe. You know, the priest passed on whatever bullshit he was trained to believe. The government passed on whatever bullshit they want you to believe. You know, I think it's something simple. That's all inspired by Rage Against the Machine. But like, you ever get pulled over by a policeman, and you see that blue uniform, and you think they're somehow a different, superior person, and you don't realize they're just like muscle and flesh and skin, like any other human being. They just happen to wear blue right now, and that doesn't actually tell you anything about their morality or their worth or their trustworthiness. It gives you the impression you should do everything they say, but do you actually know what the law is? Do you know where your rights are, legally? Because just because they're wearing a uniform, do you actually have to do what they tell you to do? Do you even know? Most people don't. They just go, oh, you got to obey the police. Do you? They're just people. I went to school with people who are police. I did drugs with people who are now police officers. They're just people. Teachers. When you're a kid at school, you think, well, teachers know their shit. No, they don't. I'm friends with teachers now. Most of them are dumbasses. Nah, that's not true. Some of them are, though. You know, it doesn't take much to become a teacher, to be fair. The qualification level is not high. You don't have to be a master in your craft. Like, science teachers are not scientists, right? English teachers are usually not published authors, right? Mathematics teachers are very rarely like cosmologists or fucking physicists or anything. They're the people that know a bit, they know a bit more than students, but they're nowhere near mastery level, so why are we learning from these kind of amateurs? And I don't mean to rag on any teachers, but am I saying anything that's untrue here? I mean, if I'm going to get a guitar lesson, do I want it from someone who's just learned the lesson ahead of me, or do I want it from someone who really knows how to play guitar? And yet we listen to our teachers thinking they're this great authority, when really they're just people. Some of them barely got their lives together. I'm not going anywhere with this. I just want you to fucking think about it, because I see most people living miserable lives simply because they believe what they were told and they didn't find out for themselves. They work long job hours at a job they hate because they didn't question that. They are in a relationship with someone they're not really that keen on because they didn't question the idea that you can find someone you actually like and be single. And they believe a religion and they haven't even finished reading the book, you know. They haven't even questioned whether or not the book's accurate. They let their government make decisions for them without going, who is the government? They're just people. Are these decisions actually good for me? What can I do about it? You know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too hyped from listening to music. I'll see you guys next time.